Alright, let's get the show started. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? Unique New York. Unique New York. Oh man, that was a tongue twister. Ooh, gotta loosen myself up. Loosen myself up like I loosen my stool. Hey guys, welcome back to another video where we talk Fujifilm gear, and today I want to talk about a lens that is beloved by a lot of people, and I see why. The 35mm f2 right here. It's a fan favorite amongst the Fujifilm community because of its small compact size, its price, and most important of all, because of its image quality. And I think this lens packs a lot in such a small form factor. It also has a weather sealing, and that is always great to have. The metal construction feels nice in my hand, and it's so damn tiny. And I'm going to keep coming back to this point as this is the best feature of the lens. And as you can see here, compare this lens to the 56mm f2. This thing is so tiny. You can walk with this thing in your pocket. It's quite versatile, really. And as you can see throughout this video, it can be used to take landscapes, seascapes, travel photography, portraits, just everything you want it can do. And for some, this feels like it's not too wide and it's not too tight. It fits somewhere in between. So if you're like me and you want to keep a distance between you and your subject, this is a great lens to have for like the discreet street photographer. Just so you know, this lens is not in my top lenses I would choose from, but that's not to say that this is a bad lens. It's not. I've just shot with so many lenses over the years. I have preferences, but that just goes to show what a great company Fujifilm is to just keep making like great lenses. The 35mm f2, it just offers so much value for its price. When I want something that is convenient and something that is light, and I know that I'm going to be walking around town, traveling to a new city, this is the lens that I would pick from my kit. This lens has been a joy to use over this past week. I've been taking it out for street photography, and I enjoy pairing this with my Fujifilm X-T4 and the X-T3. It's great because I don't have to think of what lenses to pack. It's just ready to go. It's so small and discreet, which is a bonus. People on the streets won't even care to look at it as it's unobtrusive. When I started this photography journey years ago with Fujifilm, a lot of people in the Fujifilm community recommended this lens as one of the lenses to pick up first for reasons I mentioned already. This is why a lot of people rave about this lens, and I can't say enough good things about it. Again, it is convenient, and when I'm traveling, it's not heavy at all. It doesn't add much to it. It can be stowed away in your pocket. I shot portraits, a lot of portraits. I also took this lens around Australia years ago, specifically Queensland. That's where I did most of my shooting. I also did a couple shoot with this thing and shot a few street stuff as well. I just have a good understanding of what this lens is capable of. Let's start with the autofocusing. It's so fast paired with the X-T4 or the X-T3. It's quick and snappy, great for street photographers because scenes are always happening and everything's always moving, that you need a good, reliable focusing lens. The small glass inside makes it faster to focus because they don't have to move such big glass like the 56mm or the 80mm macro. This 35mm f2 has got you covered in the quick and snappy autofocusing department. But again, don't be fooled by the lack of glass in this lens because I want to talk about its image quality next. For a lens so small, it is sharp wide open at f2. Even at f2, when I took this picture of Hillary as we were hiking around Noosa, which is in Australia, there's a lot of detail. And Hillary's going to get mad at me for zooming in, but YOLO. You can see all the sweat details at f2. It's just amazing how sharp this thing is. Oh, my back. It's even sharper around f4 to f8, and I think that is the sweet spot to get the sharpest photo out of this lens. The bokeh is okay for what it is. It does get busy when there are trees in the background. Almost looks very swirly, as you can see from this picture. So if you're using this lens, just avoid woods and trees if you don't want to get this swirly bokeh. And I find this to be very distracting to photos, but for some people, they might like it, they might enjoy it. I don't know, to each their own. I was looking back at my old photos from Australia and I am quite impressed with this lens. It is really clinically sharp if you guys are into that. A lot of my travel photos are me taking photos of moments while I was there. And in particular, this was around Hervey Bay. It is a small coastal city in southern Queensland. It is a charming city. there's this one long strip of road we walk down and bike down. As you can see in these photos, I really wanted to document what people do around this area. I was walking around the pier because that's where everybody's at, and I just got a sense of what the locals do in this town. And I think if I were to have my 16 to 55mm zoom lens around, I won't be able to get some of these moments. There were locals walking everywhere, and I guess they didn't feel weirded by me snapping away at all. And when you're traveling or doing like street photography, you want to capture these moments candidly. And by doing that, you're going to need something like this lens to make it happen. Again, this is why the f2 lenses are so important in the Fuji system. It's really inconspicuous, like no one's gonna bat an eye. Like, look how small this thing is. It just looks like a toy. It's like you know, it's like a toy, like a cute toy. Like, look how small this combo is. So no one's gonna, like, honestly, like no one's gonna take you seriously as a photographer. They probably think that you just do this as a hobby, and you know, they wouldn't care. And this is why this lens is so good. Portraits with this has been a pleasure to use. I have no complaints in this department. I've used this lens in low light situations, and I love the shots that I've taken with this. Insanely sharp. Sometimes I look at it and I feel like it's been cut out and placed in the background. It has some great defining edges when shot right in the center. Again, if you're someone that gets really hard for sharpness, this lens could be for you. I've used this lens to take some headshots, and again, the image you get from this is just fantastic. These ones were shot at f10 with a strobe and a softbox modifier. And again, I am so happy with the results. For it only being $450 US, you're getting pro results. Owen Wilson. Wow. No, he doesn't say it like that. He says it like, oh wow, 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 oh wow. I'm having too much fun. Let's get on to some negatives. If you're a pixel peeper, you're going to notice some chromatic aberrations in this camera. Once you get real close to the subject, the image becomes soft, so I recommend stopping it down to f2.8 to avoid the problem. Like this shot right here shows you the softness when getting in super close. Anyone else ever tried a golden gate time before? That thing is so fucking good. Like, oh my god. I would love a golden gate time right now. Shout out goes out to Australia, man. You guys make good food. It's ice cream. What do you guys think it is? Did you think it means something else? Again, this thing is sharp, wide open in the center, but once you move around the corners, it does get soft. But again, this is for the geeky, technical, nerdy side of photography. Here is Mr. Potato Head. You can see it's so sharp in the center, and as you can see moving to the corners, it does soften up a little bit. Here it is some more. But honestly, when you look at someone's work, do you ever criticize the softened corners of their images? Again, the bokeh gets really swirly if you're shooting these trees or in woods. This one is really subjective. I personally don't like it, but again, for the amount of value you're getting in this lens at such a great price, I'll live with it. And again, if I do need a little more bokeh, need a little more subject isolation, I still have my 56 f1.2 or my 90mm f2 to get those subject isolations. Okay, so at this price point, at $450 US, with its weather sealing, the fast autofocus, the image quality, you are getting a great lens. You can't beat its value. I think this lens could be used for any types of photography out there. Again, Fujifilm makes some great lenses. Best in its class, really, and this one is no exception. That is it for me, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, my name is Tongue. I'll see you in the next video. I love you.